Hello, I'm Richard Hooper and this is SAT TV Week. Now I'm here in Singapore at the CommunicAsia event and I'm pleased to be joined by Daniel Enns, who is the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Business Development for Comtech EF Data. Now Daniel, why is satellite such a suitable technology for 3G services in remote and rural areas?
Actually, it's a great question because in essence, satellite will more than likely be the means on how we're going to reach the less dense populations that are in the far remote areas. So the question is 3G the right technology? Is 2G? What is the difference? We're already doing a lot of work with satellite, especially for the voice traffic. 3G, of course, is the expectation of also being the broadband solution for the communities that today are perhaps having already voice services. And so why bring Wi-Fi out? Why bring WiMAX out? Why bring 2G out? Why not just 3G broadband for the rural communities? And in many places around the globe, especially in Brazil and other places, it becomes actually a mandatory government-imposed solution to the mobile operators to provide data voice connectivity, which is then deemed broadband, and why not do it over 3G?
But what are the specific challenges for providing satellite backhaul?
The interesting thing is we have always been able to do voice services. Voice is not a problem over satellite as long as I can provide control over jitter and latency. I can do voice services because from the beginning of long distance international interconnect, we've always done that over satellite. So doing voice over satellite is no difficulty or no. The challenge becomes in data services. And specifically how to do that in an economical, correct way. 3G by itself was not designed for satellite, much like 2G was never designed for satellite. It really is designed for fiber and microwave. So making 3G work over satellite is a challenge, especially for the data side, not as much for the voice.
But how do you go about providing the ideal solution for this service?
Then really the main challenge comes on how do I separate the voice from the data so that I can do the right treatment to the data, or what we today consider or talk about much is about 3GGP or the LTE, which is the new standard to come. And I do that on the 3G. I decompose the traffic between voice and data. And if I make that separation, they often call that today as the offload of data in a 3GGP network, then I can start doing things to the data portion of the backhaul differently than the voice to do exactly, specifically the areas such as TCP acceleration, all the very tricks we've done in broadband, so-called in the classic VSAC solutions. We can start doing that by combining, first of all, separating them and then recombining them. But do the treatment correctly for the voice, differently than for the data.
Now, finally, are there any specific challenges to actually doing business in Asia?
Absolutely. There's challenges everywhere because, in essence, the need for these type of solutions is inevitable everywhere. What do we have the challenge here in Southeast Asia is rain. Tremendous rainfall, actually. And so the ability to use lower cost KU, for example, is challenged. But newer equipment today allows us to separate traffic, puts quality of service onto voice separately from data, the ability of having variable coding modulation, DVB-S2, and the ability of having, for example, adaptive coding modulation allows me now to do a right mix, provide the right service connectivity, which we in the past could not do, so that I can start using KU band, even KA band, much as talked about, which will give us more bandwidth to be able to provide these type of services, especially for broadband or the 3G or the data connectivity to the rural areas.
Daniel, thank you very much.
Thank you.